It's quite lovely, but we only have a couple matches to show. But at the very least, I mean, Complexity actually up there with 3 points. They did get that 2-0 against MVP Phoenix. So starting off on strong footing, but they are up against LGD right now. Doesn't sound like it's going too well, but we'll find out in Game 2. Of course, Group B, all zeros yet. We haven't gotten to the Group B matches. We'll get to that in the later half of the day. But right now, I mean, still anything can happen. But we were talking about this earlier, right? With this kind of point system, not only does every match obviously matter more and more, but if we have more ties, then suddenly the 2-0s become like double in value. Because if every other team has tied, your 2-0 is just way more valuable because no one else has had those 3 points. And you're 2 points up ahead of everyone else.
If you have multiple draws, immediately game is hard.
Yeah, well, that's true. So yeah, that does say a lot about where the teams are. All right, so right now we are waiting for Secret and IG to decide, who's going to take those points. Secret up 1-0. Do we expect Secret to be able to take it just 2-0, given what we saw in that last game?
I just think they're generally paired very well versus IG. Just because I think IG relies on like superior teamwork, not necessarily like superior drafting or overall strategy. I think they try and outplay other teams, and Secret is really good at outplaying other teams. And I think when they get caught off guard, like Fnatic strong lanes, for example, or get outdrafted, which I don't think IG outdrafts very often, like by let's say EG, I think that's when they're most vulnerable. And IG, I just don't think that Secret views them as a big threat.
Okay, what about you, Sindri?
Once again, I think they have to play early aggression way more than they do. I think the double roaming is a solution. I like the Mirana suggestion by Winter.
Do you like Chen plus Shadow Demon?
Chen, Shadow Demon.
Something along the lines.
Chen has kind of fallen off because of the nerf.
Something that can bring aggression, for the first few minutes.
Enchantress.
Yeah, Enchantress. I would still like to see the Kunkka. I also think it's a hero that actually could work very well against Secret because they like playing. They like taking these fights where S4 generally puts them ahead. With like something like a Queen of Pain, you burst and then you follow through, and the Ghost Ship, of course, can buy you that time and get a little bit of mitigation so that you can actually have a chance at fighting back. I think it's an underappreciated support hero, but it kind of is a niche pick. But if a team is pulling it out, it's probably going to be IG, who have played it a couple of times. So I would love to see that, but maybe they're saving that for later.
And Winter, I mean, I assume just given you guys have kind of been on the same board the whole time about early aggression.
I mean, as long as it's something that helps to secure kills early and get control of the lanes and the general momentum of the game from the start, that's something that IG should look to go for, I feel.
All right, so let's assume that, Secret goes in 2-0s this game, maybe even the next one that they play. Do you think Secret will ever have to look back at Fnatic's game and be like, all right, that was just like a fluke, or will they be like, all right, we still can't ever let that happen in the draft and give them all these early aggression
Well,
heroes?
Secret generally has well-rounded drafts, which means that their early game isn't super strong. It's generally strong, but not super strong. So when a team like Fnatic really commits heavily to that part of the game, I think they need to adapt their draft to be less strong late game and more strong early game. And I think that is one of the very few issues that they have in their drafting.
All right, so should, regardless of the results of their future games, definitely something to look back on and improve upon if they want to be that champion that most people are expecting them to be. But again, we've had quite a few upsets in the past TI. So
yeah, it's like a gentle reminder that you shouldn't forget about the power of your lanes. You should make sure that you somewhat decent lanes. You can't go for lanes that are too greedy and and you get punished by that.
Winter's so nice. He's just a gentle reminder. He's not like, it's actually just stabbing you in the truth that lanes matter, but it's just a gentle reminder that you might want to care about your laning phase.
I feel like gentle reminder would not be 33. It's like a little
it's
a little rude reminder.
It's a reality check.
At best, it's questionable. At best, that's one of the lines that he likes.
At best, questionable. All right. Well, hopefully we're not going to see that from Secret this game. We are going into draft of game number 2 between Secret and IG. Waiting to find out if IG can bring, again, what you guys have been mentioning. Maybe that can go something that brings that early aggression, that secures them those early kills to snowball the game into their favor. We'll find out. The Naga being banned out right away by IG, though, and they do have first pick this time.
Let's see if Secret are up for letting through the Lesh. So far, 100% win rate. Both times has been played support,
right?
Which is actually interesting. It was played support by LGD because they got mega counterpicked on core Lesh, so they were just like, okay, we'll support. And the other one was in the wildcard round played by Vega against Archon.
Yeah, I want to say it was Vega.
It was the Ursa game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I think
so
mainly
available.
teams coming in this event, they feel like, okay, Lash Rock is something that everyone's going to be looking at. So everyone's thinking, maybe you take that and some team is going to have tons of way to counter it. So
it's true.
A good solution would be to just make sure that it goes to the support position, then it mitigates a lot of that idea.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at this point, because so many people are expecting it, it's
Yeah.
actually another different mind game of, hey, if we pick it, is it going to be core support? We've already had 2 support games, like you guys mentioned. Definitely something to consider now. This is the moment to Secret let it through. Now, if Secret lets it through, do you think they will also be in a position where they'll be like, we're just going to hard counter it and then assume that it's support, or will they actually try to wait and see?
They will definitely not pick like Cloud9 did. I think. They
as
just went
plain as
way
you can be.
overboard on it, and it was still incredible how well Cloud9 did in that game.
Yes.
As we talked about, they actually drew it on to 66 minutes with so many heroes, which we're maybe not giving them enough credit for the synergy between the lineup Cloud9 had in that game. But to me, it seemed like it was a little bit too much of one thing.
Right.
How about this, Sin?
Oh, it's
you
never-
just pick one hero that counters it. Like you don't build a lineup that counters the specific hero. Like maybe you
Right.
just pick Nyx just to deal with Lash.
Nyx
and
is decent.
If the Lash is like support, Nyx is still decent against it.
Right.
And if it's a core, obviously it's better because of mana burn.
Or you just ban it.
Sure. Oh, the Viper got... I mean, well, the Viper's always been kind of a second phase
it's
ban for...
against the Quap most of the time, because if you pick Quap and you don't leave Viper, I mean if you leave Viper in the pool after, like generally the opposing team would try to pick Viper against Quap.
Yeah, so Secret, one of the first teams we're seeing, at least here on the mainstream, to secure that right away after seeing
Yeah.
Quap. I mean, in general, I guess we haven't seen Quap really either.
They banned it as
Yeah.
well. Like the last game, when they picked Quap, they
Yes.
banned Viper in the second
Yeah,
phase.
so-
So it shows you the mentality of the team. They don't want Viper against Quap, and when they pick it, they try to make sure that it doesn't happen to
Right.
them as well.
Very
And
good.
it seems this pairing of cores for Secret is one they like to go to, the Gyro plus
Yeah.
Viper. They've used it multiple times before. I guess the idea is that Viper is a very tanky frontliner, so Viper forces a fight to happen where the enemy team has to engage onto itself, and then that sets up for a really easy call down, some good flat cannon burst, and just generally draws attention to itself across the game so that the Gyro can get farm. And
It's also lane dominating.
Yeah, lane
it's a lane
dominating.
dominator, and
Yeah.
it's less farm dependent too. So
Yeah.
Gyro can take the whole map, and it's okay because the
Yeah.
mid laner doesn't need to get a lot of items. So I
And
like that pairing.
Generally, they pair Zai into a team fight composition hero when they have Viper and Gyro, like Dark's here. So
okay.
they have a lot of combination play available if they go down that route again.
All right. IG, meanwhile, securing Razor before we go into the second phase of the ban.
So IG themselves have good lanes. Like Razor and Quap are known for being good at lanes as well. So like both sides with the first 4 picks are prioritizing heavily on having good lanes and having a good early game. That's generally a good thing for IG.
Yeah.
Being aggressive early and having good lanes. Having good lanes means that your support can roam a lot.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's what we've been talking about. You guys have been mentioning that's what we want to see from IG to see if they can change the pace a little bit, put some pressure on Secret rather.
Yeah, last game I feel like they really didn't have too much kill potential in the lanes, and that's
It was Zeus and Bloodseeker. Yeah, the other 2 lanes.
Yeah.
So Bloodseeker is like you can only roll maybe if he reaches 6 or a potential dive happens to Bloodseeker and you TP in. Otherwise, it's really hard to get early kills when you have Bloodseeker as a mid hero.
Yeah, and I mean, especially against the Queen of Pain. And of course, the support duo having to do something with that. But as you said, Chuan having a lot more success. He's known for his Enchantress as well as his Sand King, I think, is one of his best heroes. It wasn't the greatest pick last game because Tombstone is very difficult to fight into as a Blink hero. But in general, I think that those type of heroes are the ones that he's best with, and he like sets up the foundation because burning doesn't actually move as much as most other carries. So
Yeah, if you compare it to, remember the game, Sylar was Gyro.
yeah,
He TP'd in when he didn't even have mana for ulti, just one Rocket Barrage, but he
Yeah.
TP'd in and he got 2 kills. Like you would see that less from burning.
Right. All right, Dazzle also being taken out, and Darkseer being banned out by Secret.
Yeah, that's not expected. I thought they were actually going to go for it, but it might actually mean they want something else. They might want something like a hard lockdown for the Quap, or something that can, do better against Quap. I'm not sure what at this point. What else does he play? They can do well against Quap and Razor. Like, there's still Clock. Clock and Gyro work well together, but it's not very good at killing Queen of Pain. It's decent against Razor.
it's always Nyx, I think. So. But
I'm
he's
still
not
trying
that
to
good
understand
anyway.
why they banned the Darkseer.
But I'm not sure why. I'm really not sure why. It's weird.
very uncharacteristic.
Like usually you ban it if the opponent has some superior combo. Like you,
Right.
you see from the first two picks that they have something that has very huge implications with the vacuum. Otherwise, you don't actually ban it.
Yeah, because I mean it's a very combo dependent
Yeah.
hero. So
It's possible that they want to get rid of it because they don't want to have a support commit as much to annoying the Darkseer out of lane. He's a very self-sufficient offlaner and can actually get a lot if you don't constantly pay attention to him. And even if you don't, or even if you do, rather, you still have to deal with the Ion Shell. So maybe this is a way for Secret to be like, okay, we just want to open up our supports. We don't want to deal with that offlaner. We want to have a lane where Gyro can actually win, for sure. Because Darkseer can tie with Gyro. He can just creep skip. He can just cut the wave.
I actually think that might be a reason. Broodmother, because they banned Darkseer and X.
oh, okay. Yeah,
That
and
might
Brood
actually
did
be
get
the
Oh
reason.
yeah, now they.
Okay.
Yeah.
and there we
okay.
go.
Totally forgot
catch.
about Brood. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean,
Because it was so
Broodmother-
weird. Why would they ban Darkseer? Then
Yeah.
my brain was like, something is off. Then I realized they didn't ban Brood. So
Yeah.
But they didn't know that when they banned Darkseer, right? They could have banned Brood over Wisp.
Yeah, they
that's
could
why
have.
it looked weird. Like the Axe ban makes perfect sense when you see the Brood pick, but it's just.
yeah, it could be they're trying to set up the Brood. You know,
Yeah.
They might be trying.
And
okay,
then if they do ban the Brood and the Darkseers, I was like, okay, we basically traded one ban for one ban then. So it's not really
Right.
a bad trade in
Yeah.
either case. So.
But Secret does get their way with the Broodmother.
This
so.
is a problem for IG.
this is a big problem. They need supports that Co-op does okay. I say you don't exactly win the lane, but you can defend your tower basically. But it's difficult to sustain in the lane as Co-op against Brood in the long run. So that's not a long-term solution.
Yeah, I think it's better to put him in the mid, throw Luo on the Razor, and then try and have another way to deal
Wow,
with the Brood
bounty again, but bounty is a bit worrisome though. Like, if you're even in the game is even and you're able to get tracked, then bounty is able to deal with Broodmother that way. But if you get roll over in the lane, because bounty doesn't do anything in the lane
Yeah.
against Brood, so